What's up, my loves? It's your girl Diamond. I'm back with my all new review of Family Fiance. Family Fiance is back. We're about to have a whimsical doozy of a season, okay? Let's start off with this one. This one took me completely out. So we start off with Shanika and Justin. They sped everything when it comes to this, okay? Because I don't think they told us their age. All they told us was she was traveling, she got lost. Justin was a police officer. He came by, gave her directions. She saw how cute he was. She gave him her number. He called. They've been together ever since. They support each other. They both look at each other as a safe place. So then we get to the house. Session with Tracy. Usually she dives in on what she does. You know, she's a relationship coach. She's a trauma specialist, all this and that and the third. All of her credentials, right? Skip all that. Why are y'all here? So they've been together for 2 years, engaged for one. And what brings them here is she's having issues with her family. She has not spoken to her family in over a year, ever since their engagement party. So it was a conversation of what was going to transpire for the engagement party or the wedding. Because they had a conversation of who's going to pay for transportation, alcohol, and some things fell through. She said her family demanded that they pay for 19 people to travel to New Jersey from Alabama. So right now, her family isn't invited for that purpose. So knowing that at the engagement party, her family did not interact with anybody. Her family kept a distance with everybody, and she recently lost her father. So she was not prepared to have her father in her wedding, but to not have her family there, her family dynamic, and that bothers her. Majority, her brother is the main issue, right? Now I wanted to understand exactly what happened at the engagement party and the whole you paying for 19 people to travel from New Jersey to Alabama. So they're getting married in 80 days, but a lot can be accomplished for the next 3 days. So we get her mother Marcia, brother Tony, and her aunt Vicky, which is her father's sister. So Tracy is asking Justin, how do you feel knowing that her family isn't invited to the wedding? Don't you think that's a red flag? How does your family feel that this is supposed to be a union for you guys to come together and blend the family, but she's having discord with hers? He don't know. He don't have anything to say about it, but his mom has been keeping up with everything because Shanika has been confiding in his mom to tell her about what's been going on. But he did not communicate with his mother about what's been going on Shanika and how it's been affecting both of them preparing for the wedding. So why is she speaking on your behalf to your mother and you're not speaking up? What's going on there? How does that make you feel that you're not keeping up being communicated with your mother about what's going on? So we see on his side, his mother Phyllis, his sister Desire, and his best man Chris. They do the same task they do every time. Tower of Truth, dicey questions. The family arrive, they see each other. Shanika is very warming. You know, she's uplifting, giggly, happy to see her mom, see her aunt. But when she sees her brother, they just have this standoff energy. They just say, hello, sister, hello, brother, right? So there's some tension between them. But he can't escape it. They are going to be living with each other for the next couple of days. So they're going to have to come together, okay? Then when it came down to meeting her future in-laws, she has the same energy. She's bubbly, she's nice, she's giving really good hugs. But from what she's told his mom, she's always said that her family was weird. And even at the engagement party, they did not interact with anybody. They felt that her family didn't want to be there. So since we're all going to be living under one roof in the next couple of days, I don't know what to expect. So the brother's recognizing that Shanika is just laughing and giggling, acting like nothing has happened, acting like we did not just have an issue. We have not spoken to each other for over a year. So she's just smiling. Does anybody find that a bit weird? And Justin, what does Justin know? Do you think Justin knows? Well, they know how Shanika is. Maybe she's only told him what she wants to tell him. Maybe she didn't think it would come back. So you think Justin knows everything? No, like I said, we know how Shanika could be. She probably only told him what she wanted to tell him. We're going to find out what he knows. So we get to the family meeting where everybody expressed their concerns of this union and what they need to work on if they want to have a better marriage. But everybody was pretty much going against Justin marrying Shanika because she is not honest. That's the issue with their union. Shanika is not honest. Shanika lies a lot. And they want to know who you're getting yourself into when you're marrying someone who does not lie, who carries a lot of secrets. And then his family, it's the same thing. They want him to be more assertive. They want him to stand his ground. And also, they have bad communication because apparently Shanika makes all the decisions and Justin just goes along with it. He doesn't have anything to say. He doesn't have any input. He just okays with what she wants, and that's it. So, like she said, she should not be the main one making your decision. You need to have something to say as well. So, looking the fact that her family is telling Justin she tends to lie a lot. She doesn't keep up with her lies. She's not honest at all. Be careful who you're about to marry. On his side, I want you to stand up for yourself because she shouldn't be making all your decisions. You should have an input. You should have a voice. In your communication, you guys have bad communication. And I was just like, damn. Even she felt like nobody was on her side. No, nobody was on her side. You didn't have no leg to stand up as to why Justin should marry you. So then, while discovering that they have communication issues and that Shanika tends to lie a lot, there was a secret that she had a baby and didn't tell him. And I'm like, wait a minute, a baby? What's going on here? What? So she didn't even know about the baby. So his mom got emotional because as a mother, I want what's best for you. But I want you to be more assertive. I want you to talk more. You guys have really bad communication. And it's bothering me. So with everybody saying the exact same thing, I just want to understand the baby part, okay? And he just goes along with it. He doesn't stand his ground. So we get into the task, right? Her family's going to play Tower of Truth. And he's going to play Dicey Questions with her family. So while they're getting ready for the task, she's wondering, why don't they have any conversations about what she's done? Because that's the issue that her family has been trying to understand. We were told that we had a baby. I was told that I had a niece and I wanted to see my niece. And my niece has a name. Her name is Brooklyn. And apparently she's been lying about having a baby, but kept the 9 months into showing them the baby picture, a baby's name. So the whole time we're going to have this conversation because we need to talk about this. This has been lurking over our heads for over a year now. But her mom doesn't want to bring it up. She doesn't want to remind her what a dark place she was when this happened. But her brother was like, we don't need to do that. We need to get it out now because we're about to have a wedding coming up. And he needs to know who he's about to marry. He needs to know what does she do. So we get the first part, which is Tower of Truth. They want her to be honest. And they said, have you ever been honest with Justin? She said she was too honest with him. But she wants to be to the point where I am so honest with telling him things. He can never come at me with, I never told him. He can't say, you never told me when I did. So you told him about your past. The past about the baby. So she admits she was pregnant by her ex-boyfriend, but decided to terminate the pregnancy. But she kept the lie for her family. She didn't want to tell her family that she decided to have a you know what. And she was proud of keeping that up. And I was like, what sense does that make? That you made a decision to not be a mother at this time. So you did it. But you were compelled to still keep the lie going that they're about to have a brand new baby niece. Help me understand that. So they want to know, has she ever lied to anybody at this table? It cuts off from there. Dicey questions. The first question was to Justin. How do you think things played out at the engagement party? So this is the engagement party that has been keeping them away from each other for over a year. So there was a talk of payment, transportation, alcohol, and everything fell through. Now, communication comes into play because they were not being communicative when they were promised things and never told them ahead of time on what to prepare for. So they were told to drive down to Alabama. Shanika was going to rent them a Sprinter van so everybody can drive in one car. And also was told they was going to rent a house. She was going to rent a house for the kids to play in. There was going to be a pool, a big house. And none of that came out. None of it. By the time they arrived to New Orleans to drive down to Alabama, there was no Sprinter van waiting for them to drive. And then when they finally got to the house they were promised, that didn't come true as well. So you guys flew to Alabama or flew to New Orleans to drive down to Alabama, but there was no Sprinter van. So you guys had to pay out of your own pocket to get down there. And as far as the house that y'all were promised, so y'all stay at hotels, y'all pay for that too? How is it that Shanika could tell you guys what the plan is to arrive at the engagement party, but not keep up with communicating some things might not happen? That does not make any sense. So that was the communication issue. She never told them about what happened that changed the Sprinter van, that changed the house that she was going to rent for them. And he don't have anything to say because apparently that must have never been a conversation. Shanika probably just handled it on her own and never thought to tell him, never thought to include him. I mean, this is his engagement party too. Why shouldn't he have an input on what decisions you're going to make or what changes you might make and not tell him? Like, if you wanted to marry yourself, just say that, because how can you not include someone who you're about to marry on the change that's going to happen when it comes to bringing people down here? People have already cut off work, missed school, like carved out time to come and celebrate your day, and you did not think to communicate on what things might or might not have happened. And for Justin to not know a damn thing about this, he doesn't speak up at all, and I think Shanika knows that, and I think she takes advantage of the fact that he does not inquire, doesn't speak up on what's going on. He just pays for it. And he looked like a deer caught in headlights because he doesn't even know where to start. So let's get to the main issue. What do you know about the baby? What did she tell you about Brooklyn? So the story that she told him, she had a you-know-what. And they did not know that she had a you-know-what because every single month she's been showing us her belly getting bigger and bigger. And then we see a picture of a baby. Her face was blurred. And come to find out, she fabricated an entire baby. Was she ever pregnant? Because the baby is here, right? And he's about to lose his mind because he is calling out everything that his sister ever did. And it's like, I'm not crazy. This girl lies so much. She lied about having a baby. So she lied about having a baby and then told them they're never going to see a baby and ended up telling her that there never was a baby. About 75% of her family still believe that there was a baby, and they want to know, where is my niece? I want to see my niece. Is my niece here? So the main problem that's really hurting the brother was that their father died believing that he had a granddaughter out there. But the fact that he was left with that possibility hurts him. So you mean to tell me through the last days of your father, you were telling him that you were pregnant and that you're about to have a granddaughter soon, but when he passed, you never thought to talk to any of your family members to say, I know I said I was pregnant, but I'm not anymore, and I don't know how to break the news to dad. I think your dad would have understood, but at the same time, the fact that you carried on that lie after your father died is a little bit disturbing for me. And I know that the brother is mostly feeling the hurt from the father. Like, my father died thinking that he had a granddaughter out here when he never had that. And I want to know why you think that was cool to do and that it was still cool to keep up that lie. Our father isn't here anymore. So what's the point? So they want to know from Justin, how do you feel knowing that she lied so much, she even lied about having a baby? He wanted to go and talk to her about it. No, Justin. We're talking to you. We have just outed Pandora's box of what your fiance, my sister, has done. And we want to know, how do you feel about it? He has nothing to say. He don't know what to say. And it's just kind of like, Justin, what is going on? What does Shanika do? How did you guys get to this point of being together for 2 years, engaged for 1? How is it that y'all never had a conversation about anything like this before, where you don't even have a clue, an input, an opinion on what's happening right now? He is looking so lost and confused. I was like, wow, Justin, what is going on here? So then we get to dinner where they talk about the task, and the biggest task is, you lied about having a baby. And she can see that her brother is hurt, that he's holding on to the issue. And he wanted to know, what did you tell Justin about the baby situation? Because this is where the entire issue is coming from. You lying about the baby. So She feel like since you guys call me a liar so much, there's no point of explaining myself because I'm going to be viewed as a liar. But that's what you are. You are a liar. Even if you was to admit or express your feelings, express your reasoning, you still got to be understanding of the fact that they don't know what else to go off of. You've lied to them all this time. Where can we find a space where you're telling the truth if you always come out with a lie? And they want to know, what did we do to you? What have we done to you as a family that you cannot come to us and that you had to lie to us? What have we done to you? She said, I needed to prove to them. So I wanted to prove to my family that they can understand me, but I felt like they don't understand me sometimes. But why do you need to prove to your family? What is there not being understood about you? So she only keeps up with communication with people who she wants to communicate with, meaning the people who aren't going to call her out, people who co-sign and turn a blind eye to how she comes off, how she lies. They don't want to deal with it. They just sweep it under the rug. So they want to know, how do you mend fences with your family that you lied? You lied to our father. You let our father die thinking he had a granddaughter out there. How do you think that mend fences with your family? It doesn't mend things. So she wasn't taking accountability at all for her actions. And again, she only felt like the people who wasn't give her the energy of calling her out, who wanted to co-sign on her bullshit and sweep it under the rug, not dig deep as to why she did the things she did. Those are the people who she wants to be truthful with. Because she didn't want to be with her brother, who we know her brother's going to call her out. Now, we know the mama's sitting over there not saying nothing. She's mute. But the aunt and the brother, oh, they're calling her out. And she can't take it. They're like, why are you lying? You got me out here and you lying to my face. This girl's still lying to my face. So I'm Vicky. It's telling Justin. He did not know everything you told us. He did not know about the baby. He did not know what's going on. You told him a different story. So what story did you tell him? So she told him the truth. She did tell him about a time that she was pregnant and she terminated the pregnancy, but did not tell him that she kept a lie to her family. She still carried on the lie because she said she was backed against the wall. I said, how did your family back you up against the wall to still want you to be pregnant if you decided to make a decision to not be pregnant anymore? So what happened in that time where you told them you were pregnant, you made a decision to say, I don't want to be pregnant anymore, that you had to say, I got to keep it up. I got to make them happy. I got to keep going. Keep going for who? For who? This was your decision. If you was not ready to be a mom, you made a decision for yourself, or just make a decision for someone else. Like, let me understand that part. So why lie? Because the story you told Justin is way different than you told us. You said you had a you know what, which was the truth. But you still kept a different story to your family, though. That's what makes it confusing. How could you be honest with telling your fiance your story, but not be honest with telling your family the story? What would have been the difference? What would have been the difference? And then to the point where, you know, Shanika did go above and beyond to keep this lie going. She told them she was going into labor. Then there was pictures of a baby. It was an elaborate lie that she kept going. A lie that should not have happened. A white lie and omit. It shouldn't have happened. For 9 months, you carried on a lie that you were pregnant because you wasn't ready to tell your story. How do you feel now? She feels great. Only because you're on camera. And this wouldn't have made sense if you weren't on camera. How could you be so confident and calm that you decided to lie for 9 months? Show pictures of a baby. Whose baby? Of your belly getting bigger? Did they ever see Shanika in a capacity of her waddling around? Did they ever see a sonogram? Did they ever see a checkup? Did they ever see her have cravings? Did they ever see Shanika at any point in time after telling them she was pregnant? Did they ever see her showing up that she was actually developing a belly? Did they see her? So the family still don't know that she lied. Some families members still don't know. And then when she was to come around the family, all they wanted to know was, where's the baby? Of course, if all you told them that you were pregnant and you're keeping up with showing them your baby, your belly getting bigger, and you tell them you're in labor and you show them pictures, yes, the next time they want to see you, they want to see the baby. So since she could not admit that she lied, she decided to never show up. She decided to keep herself at a distance. To the point where after the baby was allegedly born, Her brother had a party for her, invited his wife's family, waiting for the baby. She even communicated with her brother that she was going to stop by with the baby. But she came, no baby. That's been happening for over a year and a half. So her reasoning for not wanting to not admit that she lied, so she disses herself. Because she wanted to prove herself to her siblings. And that made no sense. So you did not want to admit that you lied about having a baby. You wanted to keep the lie going or keep up with, I don't know, where your siblings were in life. Maybe what your siblings are moving forward with, having children, getting married or something, and you weren't there. And you wanted to keep up with that, but you didn't think you would have been accepted. I don't know. So lied about that. The best man, Chris, is looking at Tony. He's going crazy because he just like, you just keep on lying about a lie. And he's letting him know what will make it go away or what will be the outcome for you. What will ease your pain? What will be the solution for you to finally get what's coming? Like, what will be it? Her admitting it, and then what? What's going to happen? What's that going to do for you? I just think that he is just tired of not being heard. I am tired of looking as if I'm crazy when I know my sister is lying to my face and can't nobody see it but me. So they're going back and forth. He is holding her accountable. Because to this day, I'm going off of what you told me. You told me about what we were going to do for the engagement party. You told me of what were you going to do. And then I said to you from the beginning, if things were not going to go right, let me know. She said he never said it. She said he never, approached her on wanting to know if things were to go left, that he would help you out or want to know what to do. How? When you told me that you were going to get a handle on things, you told me what we were going to get, you told me what you were going to do, and I'm communicating back to you that, okay, let me know if things don't go right so we can figure it out from there. You did not communicate back that things didn't go right. You just kept us in that same state of, she's going to get us a Sprinter van, she's going to buy us, she's going to get us a bed and breakfast, this and that and third. Like, you kept us in that realm without realizing you did not have it together. We've been lying to. And then while seeing Tony come at Shanika, nobody's sticking up for her. Not even Justin. And I see her looking back at him. She's looking really nervous. Justin's just sitting there staring into space. And it's like, wow, not even your fiance could defend you because you haven't even kept up with what you're lying about. You haven't told him about anything because you feel like at some point it's no point in telling him because it's already been done. So now we're seeing the mom, his mom, realizing that's why she's always said her family was weird. I could never understand why she would call her family weird, but now I get it. It's not her. Shanika has not kept in reality. She has been in a fantasy, a world where she can control the outcome of what she says to people, and if they don't agree with what she wants, then she writes them off and acts as if we never had this conversation. It's like read and weep. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you're not going to do what I want you to do, you get written off my story. End of that, So she can't handle being called out. Now we got the mom crying because Tony and Shanika are going back and forth. And he's like, listen, let's stop pacifying her. Stop sweeping it under the rug. Stop letting her get away with it. Nobody's holding her accountable but me. Nobody's calling her out but me. He gets up. Take this mic off me. Y'all can fly me out tomorrow. Y'all not about to look crazy on TV. He even gets up and eats at the kitchen because he doesn't want to sit next to his sister who is continuously lying to his face. And that was a lot on day 1. Then we get to day 2. Nobody has left. She automatically assumes that was going to happen. He said he was going to leave. He didn't leave. That's just like my family. We argue. We have a lot of issues. But then the next day, we wonder what's for breakfast. It never happened. Justin is outside with his mother. And his mama's like, listen, I watch a lot of Lifetime movies. And when I see a person that's going through a lot of trauma, that usually means that person has mental issues. And I just want to know, are you prepared for that? Are you going to move forward with a person who lied about this? How do you feel? And to me, it's something that the mom didn't do or the mom waited too late to do because her son does not show any grounds of assertiveness. He does not talk. He doesn't communicate. He just sits there and accepts things. Her son is definitely a pushover, an extreme pushover. And I want to know where at some point did she drop the ball to allow her son to be used like this. Because she's saying Shanika needs some help. She needs some help to relieve her trauma and some self-reflection. And so do you. Because you guys do not know each other individually. Shanika needs to learn about herself and what she needs to let go of. And Justin needs to find a backbone. That's what he needs to find. You guys cannot continue to be in a relationship where you're being manipulated and lied to. So, like I said before, she's telling him to stick up for himself, stand his ground. And I just want to know, Mom, what point did you realize that your son needs to stick up for himself? Because I think you handle mostly everything in your son's life. And I just want to know at some point, where did you want him to fly on his own? What age was that? Because the man, I don't know how old he is, but this man can't even talk about his feelings when asked because he doesn't know. He doesn't have them. Or I don't know, because he couldn't even try to compartmentalize what everything just transpired. A woman he's been engaged to for over a year lied to him about having a baby, or lied to her family. Continuously is lying, and he don't know what to say. His empathy is not here. So I just want to know what happened in his childhood that makes him this stone. And we get a session with Tracy. Want to know how was her interaction with her brother, and why did you tell your fiance a different story than you told your family? She figured since she already dealt with what she did, there was no point of telling him. But you can't do that. Just because you decided to detach yourself or erase what you did doesn't mean that it won't be a conversation about your past. You can never silence people of asking about your past if you're not ready to talk about it, which means you haven't moved on from it. Come on now, you are telling them there's pictures of a baby, you showing your belly, and you think that because you've already dealt with it, there was no point of talking to him about it. But like Tracy said, that's a part of you. It will never leave you. That's a part of your past. And I think that. So I believe that Shanika just assumed, since she's already dealt with what she did, she didn't think that a conversation would have been had after that. But you can't silence somebody for wanting to have a conversation of something you decided to do in your past. You can't control that. So I guess she feared that telling him that she terminated the pregnancy, that would make him leave her. So she wanted to prevent that by continuing on with lying about having a baby, showing pictures, but told him the truth, but did not tell him the truth about her still lying. So I guess the whole point, never thought it would come out, but you can't do that. You cannot control the story, control the narrative that suits you, so that way you don't admit to what you did. I think she's holding on to the trauma of having the you know what. And she thought that if I dealt with it, because it's what I did, nobody should want to question me. Nobody should want to ask me about it, because there's no point in talking about it. It's already been done. But it's coming across in your present time. You got your family asking you, why did you lie? You got his family looking at you as to what does she have to lie about and what's going to happen if you guys get married. So the fact that she was afraid of him leaving her, you can't control what he might do with that information. He has to take time to reassess, reevaluate, and make that decision if he wants to forgive and move on. So the fact that she was afraid of owning up to what she did that would make him leave her, you did not have that conversation. You did not see. He would have been more understanding. He would have been more, okay, supportive if you had talked to him about it. And apparently he does the same thing. He to himself, he doesn't talk. He handles things on his own. And he never thought that him not speaking would have given her that space of, I don't know if he would be able to handle it, but she couldn't control that. You can't control other people's retaliation if you're honest about it and face the consequence of what she's done. And that's what she doesn't want to do. She has not come to terms of what she did. And the lie just kept on getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and realized she kept digging a hole that she could not get out of. So with trying to eliminate something in her past, it's bled into her present. And Tracy's looking at her like, it's not an issue or a lie. It's a mental disorder you have. It's maybe a personality disorder, a sociopathic disorder. It's something. And then the whole reason as to why she wanted to hide this was of the perfect image she had in her head from her father. Her father left knowing that he had a granddaughter, and she wanted to break that image that she has perfected. But at the same time, your father is gone. So she realizes that, but don't want to accept it. I can't accept that I lied to my father and he's not here for me to rebuild that relationship, to rebuild that trust because he's gone. So now it's killing her. She is feeling completely guilty of what she done and doesn't want to forgive herself, doesn't want to acknowledge what she did, and is going to keep on holding on to this lie that shouldn't be held on to. You need to release it because your father is gone. He's not going to come back. He's not going to say anything, but you need to still live your life and you need to forgive yourself so you can move on. And you need to also learn how to be honest about things that you might not understand or you might not have a space where you can control someone else's reactions, control someone else's retaliation. You got to be willing to be okay with that. So she's caught between the crossroads of keeping her father's image perfected and also living her life. So talking about how her father was so strict, the dynamic in the household was super strong, super strict. I don't know what that meant with you having to lie about you being pregnant or having to have this disorder of you having to perfect things, tend to tell white lies, tend to tell people other things without having the full confirmation. What happened in that household? Then we get to the conversation about her brother. How her brother is the only one keeping it a buck about what she's done. But she wants to fix the relationship if only her brother was to change his communication. Why should she have to? Her brother has been completely open and vocal about how he's felt. And everybody is silencing him like he's the one in the wrong, but it's really her. You have a problem with communicating truthfully. So their relationship, they've always been stuck like glue. Then they got to high school, everything was different. She started acting differently. She started pretending to be another person. Might have hurt his friends a couple of times because she started acting differently. He would defend her because she hurt his friends. But even right now, she doesn't take any accountability that she hurt his friends because he never came up to her and told her about it. But Tracy said it doesn't matter whether or not he came up to you. You're not showing any remorse that you hurt his friends, that you hurt your brother. You don't even care how you hurt your brother. And Tracy is validating Tony's feelings because he's hurt by everything that Shanika did. And she is lying about how she doesn't care. And it's scary that you could just lie in front of your brother, lie about how you don't care, you're not being remorseful. So Tony has been the only one telling the truth right now. He gets gaslit every time he feels what he feels, and it's wrong. The dynamic between the two of them is way bigger because the whole family defends the wrong person. They defend the wrong person. They need to defend Tony because what he's saying is the truth, but they are co-signing and turning a blind eye to Shanika. They're sweeping the issues under the rug. Why? Was Shanika the princess? Can't nobody make her do nothing she doesn't want to do? Did they pacify her, coddle her, gave her everything she wanted, but made Tony work for it? That's what I want to know. So Shanika gets kicked out of her own session because Tracy wanted to get Tony's side. We're hearing Tony. Tony needs to speak up. And his whole life, he's been overlooked. He was never able to express himself. He's been shut down every time it comes down to him calling out what Shanika does. And it's like a fire alarm that's going off, and can't nobody hear him. Can't they just hear this annoying sound that they just want to shut up? So Tracy understood why Shanika does these things, but doesn't excuse it because there is a reason why she does it. So now in the kitchen, they're having a conversation about why were you changing your personality? Why was you changing yourself? Why was your behavior different when you were with my friends? She said she was going through a lot growing up. She was pretending to be someone that she wasn't. And her brother was like, okay, well, why didn't you talk to me about it? Don't act like we did not live in the same household. We did not grow up the same. I thought that would make us closer. But she felt like she did not know how she would have felt if she was to confide in him because she thought she was the only one who was feeling like this. She was feeling sad without having a reason to feel sad. She felt miserable. She thought she was supposed to be the princess that got everything, but that's not how she felt. But like he said, you don't see what our father did to us. Our father wouldn't have allowed me to get braids because he thought that I was gay. I couldn't get braids till I was 13. I couldn't wear flip-flops. So we're seeing the dynamics of how certain family members tend to raise a boy and a girl differently. They would be so hard on the boy. Well, certain households be so hard on the boy, but give the girl everything. And then it'd be vice versa. Let the girl learn hard, but give passes to the boy. And learning that they had such a strict household is kind of like, what did happen? What did your father do? And she started creating all these personalities of a life that she wished she had. With hearing how her friends would talk about the things that they liked, things that they had, she couldn't imagine that. She couldn't feel any empathy for that because she didn't have it. So that's acting like she was someone way better than where she came from, and how she didn't feel anything. She was sad, and mental illness wasn't a topic growing up. And Tony starts to cry because he remembered what his father did. His father was a good man, but he did do a lot of things wrong. And I wanted to understand, why didn't she express those things? And why did it start from high school to adulthood? Why did she lie about the perception of a family that she really didn't have? Saying her family was weird, but without actually giving a reason as to why her family was weird. Her family don't look weird or don't act weird. They act very normal. So what didn't she see as a family? And how she kept herself living a certain way, and she keeps on living that way. She don't want to change. And how he told her, listen, we know what our father did, but you need to be honest. She thinks that he's telling her to just wake up and remember what our father did. But she's hearing, I don't want to break up his perfect perception of their father. But he's telling her, we know what our father did. Our father was a good man, but he still did some things wrong. I'm telling you right now, it's okay for you to be honest about your feelings, because we could have had a much better relationship had you told me how you were feeling. But she felt like she wasn't able to talk because she never thought she would have been understood. But why wouldn't I understand when we all knew what our father did? I'm never going to break away what our father did. He was a good man, but he did some things terrible. But I wanted to know, what was the family household like? I wanted the mother to speak up. Y'all could have brought in the other therapists who dives deep into trauma in families. That's what I wanted to know. I wanted to understand it. So he kind of understands her a little bit more now, but I wanted to know, what was the trauma that Shanika felt growing up as a child? What was it? So day 3, after having a nice moment with her and her brother, they felt they understood each other more. Justin tends to be to himself. He doesn't express himself, doesn't open up, but he does need to speak up and have a backbone. That's what he does need to do. And Shanika complained about him holding himself, keeping things to himself on him and not on her, or not on their relationship. And Tracy caught her criticizing him. Like, okay, instead of you criticizing him how he doesn't share, he doesn't hold an open support system, try giving him that support about, if you need me, come talk to me. Don't just criticize him what he doesn't do. That doesn't feel good. It doesn't give him a safe space to want to talk to you. And that's what Shanika does. She always say it's not her, it's the other person. But what she does creates that space for the other person. Then the blessing ceremony, everybody said yes, but the majority of them saying yes was that they were told that Justin and Shanika were going to counseling, going to therapy. And if asked about the baby, she would have told the truth. So then we get the update. They were continuing to work on their communication. Justin says he trusts her completely. They were married in a small ceremony surrounded by family. Shanika did not invite Tony to the wedding. For me, I feel like because of how she looked on camera and how it was said, she decided to not have that at her wedding. She wanted to still keep that perfect perception that, look at me, I'm still growing. It's my brother. He got the problem. But I don't know why this relationship got a yes. I think that Justin and Shanika need to spend more time learning themselves. Shanika needs intense therapy. Justin needs intense therapy as to what happened in his childhood, that he is not speaking up more. What happened? What was the block between him not being assertive enough? And Shanika, why did she lie to present herself a certain way? Was she not happy from where she came from? Because I feel like there's trauma there that needs to be talked about, and it was rushed, in my opinion, to get to the yeses. There was no breakthrough. But y'all, that was it. That's all I have. I mean, the first episode of Family Fiancé was really good, and I can't wait for the remainder of the season. But y'all, please stay tuned for next video, and I'm gonna see you guys later. Bye.